Let's go, Tennessee fans. You have an absolutely sexy matchup versus NC State and Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. A weird one being played in Charlotte. I really freaking love this play design to start things off. I love motioning and stacking receivers. I really do. And the funny thing about it is Western Carolina's actually in a decent spot here to defend this because they are running a little out here and a deep corner over here. Okay, just very simple smash concept. This is really good stuff by McCall, seeing that the safety has his hips open to the inside. And guess what? I can throw this football over here with anticipation, and he actually does. You know, some would say he could have thrown it a half second sooner, but look at that ball location right there. Really good stuff. All right, I think you're going to see a lot of this because obviously NC State won't face a pass rusher like James Pierce. So what I think they're going to do is a lot of these jet sweep things just to keep the defense honest and to attack the edges, okay? And this is actually really well blocked. It's not all that poorly defended. They do an overall good job squeezing this. It's just you've got to be able to make this tackle, right? 10 is able to fall forward for all these extra yards. Pretty crazy stuff. They still can't get him down. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Oh, the ball's loose. The ball's loose. Crazy play. All right, 1st and 10, and this is going to be something very new for Grayson McCall. You know, at Coastal, he played in a very somewhat gimmicky offense, and right here, you know, he stares down his receiver, misfires, and that's a good job by that safety to break on it, and then have a good run after catch. Overall, I like NC State's receivers. Grimes is a very interesting player, and this is actually some really good quarterbacking here, down by 7. Grayson McCall play action fake. He sees single high over here. So you want to work this one-on-one matchup. Well, guess what? There's some pressure just right down his face, and boom. While he's getting hit, he throws a really good back shoulder ball right here. This is going to be a tough matchup for a secondary in Tennessee that a lot of people aren't high on. Can they step up and make these kinds of plays? So here on this 3rd and 8, this is a good job by Grayson McCall eventually getting to the matchup. He starts off looking left and then works back to the right side. That's really good quarterbacking right there. Good pass protection as well. But you'll see that this ball location is not good. If this is better ball location, this is a touchdown. This forces a receiver to stop, turn around, and just fall forward. So right here, if you're Tennessee, you have to like that your defensive line is going to get more pressure than this. I understand play action fake makes this tougher, but you know, Pierce and those guys, they're going to have more pressure on the quarterback than Grayson McCall has here, to where he has all day to throw this football and eventually hit the deep over from the right side to tie this game. Man, if you're Tennessee, if they're going to play man coverage and be aggressive, you will cook them. Cook NC State this weekend, okay? You know, Tennessee doesn't run this play. I mean, I think I've seen them run this in the red zone, right? You're just creating a lot of traffic and just rolling out and hitting the out route here. That's a very tough guard for the safety. A lot of rub routes mixed in there. And if you would have told me that Western Carolina would have scored 14 points in the first quarter, I would have told you you're crazy. So this NC State defense, rough go at it early. So this play right here is definitely going to be the story of Tennessee's season. I mean, it's just as simple. If many out there that are smarter than me doesn't like Tennessee secondary, can you get pressure with a really good defensive line in Tennessee, right? I mean, look, everything is protected to perfection. Perfection, okay? This coverage is also not great. The DB right here has inside leverage, and there is safety help right here, okay? So the one thing you don't want to do is get beat to the inside. Well, one little juke, he gets beat to the inside here on this endbreaker. It's a really good job by 15. Once again, NC State's receivers, 5, 6, 10, and 15, all really solid players. And that's a big old boy right there, too. You know, I felt Western Carolina focused a little too much on stopping NC State's running game, right? I would not be letting 10 get a free release on an in-breaker on this RPO. And that is just way, way, way too much space. I would force NC State to try to run the football before getting Grayson McCall going in this game. Concepcion, or is that how you say his last name? Really solid player. Okay, right here, it looks like this is poorly defended, but it's not. Only one player, though, makes a bad mistake. 6 should have been scraping over this. Instead, he decides to take an in cut right there, and that kind of takes him out of the play, and 20 is able to find an alley. Once again, I would force NC State to try and run on you, right? Don't let their vertical passing game get going. Obviously, that's just bad run fitting right there. And once again, the jet sweep game, I think it's going to be a factor, right? It's one way to attack the edges and really give Tennessee's elite pass rusher something to think about, right? Once again, you just got to step up and make a play. That's not the worst defense of this I've ever seen. But once again, 10 is a very, very solid player. 39. Once again, I didn't understand playing single high as much as Western Carolina did and giving 10 free releases in the slot. You know, your pressure is just not going to get there in time to affect this, okay? One thing I'll say about Grayson McCall is you can clearly see he's not the most natural thrower of the football. This looks like a very labored release in a clean pocket. As you can see, that ball doesn't have near the zip on it that, you know, Nico would have. But it gets out there quick enough to allow 10, once again, to make a play after the catch. This time they're split zoning him. Fake like you're running to the left. Leak him out to the right. You know, I am a little shocked right here that the safety bailed right here. I don't know the coverage rules, but once again, it's going to be a lot of this, right? Jet sweeps, leaks into these soft edges. And I got to give Missouri a lot of credit. They crushed Tennessee's defense with these types of plays, right? These little, and sometimes it would be the running back after getting a play action fake leaking out right here into the flats. You're going to see a lot of this from NC State. A lot of this, okay? Once again, I'm a little shocked that the safety didn't just take 10 on the split zone action there, but this is not what you want. This is not what you want at all, okay? But we'll see. We'll see if the Vols can hold up against this, okay? But I kind of like Tennessee's DTs in this matchup. I think NC State's offensive line is fine. You know, they've always been somewhat solid up front. I'm not, obviously, the biggest Wolfpack expert out there, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I would rather them force him to run for 5 yards at a time instead of all these explosive pass plays with free releases. All right, 4th and 1, all right? NC State does something stupid. It drives me crazy when teams do this. You've been killing them, spreading them out. Now you decide to get tight, okay? It's very weird, and it's a horizontal handoff, and this ends up being a really, really, really good play. Can you bring him down? You can, so force him. All right, so once again, this is kind of new for Grayson McCall. 3rd and 10 in empty here. And I'm not the biggest fan of this play call, right? They've been playing like this off. Why not just play pitch and catch and make it a more manageable 4th or get you more so in field goal range? But instead, they decide to run everything basically deep and towards the sticks. I'm not really a big fan of that, especially in this area of the field, especially when you know teams like to blitz, okay? And it's not picked up the absolute best, but in fact, it is indeed picked up good enough for McCall to sit in here and wait for this dig to open up, okay? Now, it wasn't clean by any stretch of the imagination, and there's a safety right here, so maybe that safety is bearing down over here. I don't know. But everything looks to be covered, and this is what I would do if I were Tennessee, okay? Play aggressive defensively and force McCall to beat you from the pocket. This is a really, really good defensive rep. I know eventually the Gatang gets beat, but it took a lot and a little bit of a tug for that to get there. And look, this is what you want to do defensively. Force McCall to be a pocket passer. 3rd and 14. Man, I was really impressed watching Western Carolina. You know, last year they were a 7-4 team, and they actually got blown out by a not-so-great Arkansas team in week 1. This week, this is really good quarterbacking. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of switches in those receivers' routes, and he hits them right in stride for a huge, huge gain. This is obviously something Tennessee likes to do, get their guys out wide and try and create numbers in the box. What's funny is Western Carolina's numbers weren't really all that good here, right? You have two safeties pretty deep into this box on 1st and 10, and guess what? You're getting movement, right? Hopefully Big Lane Sir can do this same thing. I mean, look at this movement that they're getting on this North Carolina State defensive line. I mean, they are washed out of the club here, man. They are in South Carolina, basically. And that is excellent. And let's see if the safety can fill. He cannot. And guess what? That should be Dylan Sampson all day, every day. Obviously, Jalen Wright was really good at those types of runs, but maybe Sampson could get a few of those as well. All right, Vols fans, you've got to let me know. Does Tennessee cover the 7.5-point spread? I believe the total is around, 61-ish, somewhere around there. I actually like the over. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I do think Tennessee ends up winning this game by 2 touchdowns. I think the final score will be something like 38-24. Why not? High-scoring game. But overall, NC State's a solid team. Waters right there is their best running back, out over 100 yards rushing in this game. Concepcion, number 10, is a good player as well. So, yeah, NC State definitely has talent. They've always been a really solid college football program. They did lose a really good linebacker, Peyton Wilson, to the NFL draft last year. I just think defensively they're not going to have enough to keep up with Nico in this offense. So I actually do think Tennessee will roll, but feel free to let me know. Once again, kind of one of these weird neutral site games that are flying under the week 2 radar, but I certainly will be watching, okay? It is! Pow, ow, SEC, boom! Tonight, we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings.